Well, greetings. Thank you for joining us. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Fifth Dimension. Okay, I wanted to do something a little bit different. This came up recently, and I figured, why not? So I got another lamp. I got a candle, big ass candle. It's cool. So about negative entities, go through my experiences with them. So some people don't understand it or figure like I'm a negative entity or whatever it might be. That which is fine. People get scared easily with all this. But basically, I'll give you a rundown of how I deal with it, how I'm not afraid of them either, because I kind of figured out how they operate for the most part. I might as well just get the lowdown of it. So, it was around 2011 when I started opening up to my abilities. There's a tarot card. Jeez. Yeah, somebody wants me to talk. There's a tarot card reader, old lady. They're always old ladies, right? Very nice. I was recommended to her through a friend of mine. She got in a car accident. She went for therapy. They had a tarot card reader there, or a hypnotherapist. So I went to see her. So we did a lot of past life regressions. And I had a spirit guide that came through that was Ulysses, and I saw Atlantis blow up and stuff like that. It wasn't pleasant. So after that, so I understand how to do meditations with a candle, and I did. You clear out your energies, clear out the negative, bring in the positive. You go into a forest, you see what you need to see. I'm not gonna go into details of it. It's another way of going through past lives, also. Yeah, it's like you go into the meadow, you take your guide's hand, you go down the stairs, you go into many rooms, you let your guide take you to where you need to go. So, and let your guide appear as they want you to appear. That's like the short version of it. So, I saw a video, I'm not going to say where I saw it from, but I saw a video about, because I want to put that energy out there, about changing your spirit guide, and it looked pretty harmless. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, because my guides, I didn't feel right about my guides. For obvious reasons, because they weren't exactly the best. So, and it's like being in a bad relationship, basically. It's just mine with the outside world, or the unseen world. So, way I went about it, I asked for, I heard the guy on YouTube say, hey, I asked for a new guy, and a new guy came. So I did the same thing, and then something grabbed onto me. It's like, hey, it worked. It's like, I didn't think anything of it. And I told the tarot card reader this. Her guide said, don't let anything dark come through. I was like, okay. I didn't think it was dark at first, but then I was talking to her the next day, or next whatever days. This being was like from Romania or something like that, or it was weird. It seemed to be legit. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. That's the thing. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, this is why it's good to have a mentor or somebody with you. Because, I had no clue. So I was talking to the tarot card lady at night by her car. We just left for her session. And something, speaked around me. It was, connected to me. It was, from this area. It was speaking. And it wasn't very kind. It was probably trying to push me to do violence or something like that. It's like, I didn't tell her about it. It's like, okay, well, I better get going now. And I was spooked out. It sounded like a creature. So I just raced home. It was like a 20-minute drive. Laid down, lit a candle, did a meditation, saw it, and released it. Okay? No problem. After that, and her guide, her stupid guide, so I told you not to pull anything dark. You think I know what the hell I'm doing? I mean, no, that's not very helpful. Yeah, her guide's kind of shit, but either way. Yeah. Well, so to go into a little bit more detail, in 2014, I got pushed by my guides, my supposed, I think they're positive for the most part. Just, I got whatever was laying around, apparently. Either way, they wanted me to do this, psychic work professional. It's like, okay. It's like, I don't really want to do that professionally, but okay. So I found a psychic circle. I found the right one that had Native American involved with it. And they said I was a good reader, and went pretty decently. There was a dark entity that appeared, or a dark spirit, and it was coming after me for some reason. And that kind of spooked everybody out. Definitely the teacher said, he said whatever it was after me. This is on 2014. I didn't know anything about channeling or anything. I knew of it, but I wasn't doing it. So I was doing messages for people and things like that. So what they do is it kind of blocks energy. But anyway, so that entity got released. It was just roaming around the room. It wasn't attached to anything, supposedly. And then I told the teacher I had like this dream about one of the students. It was weird. It's like, am I here to help this person? He said, there's something that, he didn't say I was something attached to you, but he said there's something attached to me. It's like that doesn't make any sense. So it's like, shit. So what I felt was there was, something like dark on the left side of myself. So I went and did the meditation again, and there was something like really ancient connected to me. And nobody, I mean, these things you can't find. This sucker has been around me since I was a kid. The energy, I felt like it was a father to me. It was like, what the fuck? So I, brought light to it. Basically, you recognize it, you bring it to light, and you release it. I'm gonna tell you, it felt a lot, and I felt it outside of me for days. I would say weeks, but I'm gonna say days. I felt it watching me trying to get back in. It scared the living hell out of me. So after that, that's why I do sea salt bath or shower. You have sea salt soap. Felt better with that. I felt a lot better. So, basically it's just there to basically get you in trouble with people. It's trying to, kind of like talk through you to make you say something really stupid. It's the type of entity push you to suicide. It's those types. So it's been around since I was a kid. It has connection to my father that I never really knew. And that's the other thing. My father I never knew started showing up in the, it's connected somehow. I haven't fully gone. I'm going to bring up all this through the radio show. So we're going a little bit more depth, but I mean, just like you have family that's all messed up, I have spirits that are all screwed up. So there was one time where I was going through a situation, and a spirit, a positive one, would hit me, like knock me, and actually move me. And it was on this bed actually, and you can feel it move around. I mean, so, it just, I knew about the spirit world before I understood it. I knew there was something else going on, because I've always got little touches here and there. They would move my arm, they're just moving me around to get my attention. So, I knew, and it's not all negative, it's just the negative ones come through. Now, Ulysses, my so-called great shit guide, he really pissed me off. But either way, I need to know what a piece of shit guide feels like. So, I had a girlfriend that things didn't go out so well, and I went to visit her, and I probably, he guided me to do it. I mean, it was alright, but she was like, tell me to fuck off, basically. But that's a whole nother story. That's her issues. But either way, my guide got me involved, but put me in a situation I didn't need to be in. So, and her little ex-boyfriend was around me too. Not going to go into details, but I felt them both being pulled away from me. So, it's a test. It's just a freaking sucky ass test. I mean, you have these crappy guides for a reason. It's like fast forward into the spirit world. It's like having a relative that sucks, basically. Same thing. It's just you don't see them. So you have a crappy guide. I mean, I remember one girl in the psychic circle, actually, she said all of a sudden she wanted to go shopping. She was shopping, and all of a sudden she went shopping. Her guide took over her. So just to give you a little bit of understanding of that. See, we don't understand all this. Even a lot of this is over the mentors. They don't understand it either. So we're all kind of figuring it all out. So I got it pretty well figured out now, at least how these entities work. So I'm not worried about any. Like when I started channeling, I had, this is all before I started channeling. So obviously clear out the crap first, right? So it really sucked, but I learned a great deal, especially that entity that was attached to me. I learned a great deal from that. I never knew creatures are roaming around here. Like with reptilians, they get pissed off at me in the beginning, and they would put something on me. I wake up, I feel like I wasn't sure something was wrong, but they put an attachment on me. You can feel a consciousness from the damn thing. And so I went in, do a clearing, and it's gone. So they're not allowed to do that anymore, but It's one way to get your attention. Yeah, it's scary out there, but once you understand it, it's not a big deal. But that's the thing. These people that are on this love and light kick, that's all they do. They want to talk about the negative and all that. You know how much darkness they pull in? They pull in a lot. Because they're not balancing themselves. They say, ew, the dark. It's like, a lot of these positive people that claim they're positive, like a lot of girls and guys, we'll just use it for girls for example, they pick up this guy and say, oh, he's so positive, and then they find out he's a piece of shit. So, yeah. Same thing goes with spiritual people, same situation. That's why I'm a little bit too forward, like too real. I'd rather be real and look like a doofus than be fake like that. Because there's plenty of others, I'm not going to name names, others that put on all this facade. And I'd rather I feel like I'm a balanced person for the most part. I'm not trying to put on a show or anything like that. Obviously, you're to assist. And these entities, it's a real hardcore, messed up. I'm not trying to be better than anybody, or it's not a game. It's a game, but it's not a contest of who's better than anybody. Those are my experience. Obviously, there are entities trying to get into my energy field and mess with me for obvious reasons, but you just clear that out. Obviously, you can't. Some things you just got to go through, but I haven't had any attachments or anything like that. They can cause interference here and there. It all depends. But yeah, clearing out your spirit guides isn't as easy as it sounds. Sometimes you have a contract with all that loveliness, just like you have a contract with your family. So clearing out, but you can obviously do a release of them, and possibly you can even cut their ties even earlier. So just ask your guys to get lost and whatever words they want to use. I was told you have to change your name a little bit, like mentally. It's like, yeah, screw that. So this is all, some of us have to go through hell for a reason to teach others to, hopefully have it easier. But you do learn a great deal, I give it that. But not everybody can handle it. It's like, you can, but you can't. In this environment, it's different reasons for it. But I figure I put this out there for various reasons. Just, I haven't talked about this in ages. Especially like with reptilian beings, they add attachments to you and stuff like that. So you can't win. You just can't win. So, and especially you have channelings about the secret space program and all of this, and he's like, is that the being that's saying that it's being, or you have Yeshua come through and it's really not Yeshua, stuff like that. So it's all a test in the long run. So it's just where do you want to go? Usually the most comfort zones aren't always the best. It's like the more comfortable you feel in the environment. Wow, it's like going to this channel. It's like going to church. It's just, I've had messages from others about, they say it's this entity, but in truth it's not. So, it's just like, obviously many of us like to break through this reality and bring in the new dimensions, but you kind of have to go in the gutter first to get there. Doesn't mean you won't get there. It's just you kind of have to hit the ground and understand. Doesn't mean everybody has to go through this type of thing. No, but some people need to. I needed to for teaching purposes, to know how they operate. I needed to have a glimpse. I had no idea I was going to end up doing this for never in my mind. I've seen channeling like this, but never thought I'd be doing it. So I'm going to bring angel energies into this. If you believe it or not, it's up to you. Basically to cut through, see what we get with that. So I figure I'll bring it up. It's been something that, give the aliens a break and everything else that's out there. For those that are new to all this, is ivantoad.com. I have private sessions throughout the week. Scheduler. We're on a channel, and you can enjoy all this yourself. Google Hangout, Zoom, and channeling by phone. It's all recorded. You have 10 days for delivery on most of this. Same situation here. I have other channels and heroes I do recommend. Social network. Awesome. Thank you for your support. There's something else out there. The weather. I mentioned some of the weather last night, which is, interesting. Alright, with the angels, Archangel Michael is usually the one I connect to. Let's see, one moment. Oh, Prime Creator Energy. Let's see if Prime Creator comes through. Michael seems to be the one. One moment. Uriel is here. Basically, greetings. This is Michael. Connecting to a dark entity is like going to the gym. It's like a spiritual gym. It's there to push you to your limits. It's there to exercise your mind, take you to a new level. It's exercising the soul. It is basically cleansing it, opening it up more. That doesn't mean you have to have a dark entity as a guide, but many do for teaching purposes. Many actually have, you'd be surprised how many have positive connections with their not so friendly guides. Those are part of your modern population. Your majority of your people are usually connected, and not all, but a good amount are, especially when you're triggered by negativity. And some, yes, those that do negative acts get extra negative guides that come in. Basically, you can overpower a positive guide easily, and the person allows it to do so. That's why you have school shootings and other situations. Mind controls along with it. You have a negative guide, you have a negative mind control, all mixed together, and now you have like a nuclear bomb, basically. So yes, it's a lesson for the soul. It's a spiritual lesson. Sometimes the soul needs to blow itself up, go into a deep darkness to find itself. As you realize, many do need darkness to awaken. Doesn't mean you have to go through suicide in nature, but some do. Some feel like suicide's the only way to go. Now, do we recommend it? No. Because that's when you get soul contracts from other beings, and you have nowhere to go. Basically, you have to do what they want. You think this world has its issues, the suicide world is far worse and far different. And this is where you get some of your MK Ultra assassinations. Those that are under control. A lot of them incarnate that were suicide, incarnate as a human and are controlled. So when they get controlled by the government, it's not that hard. So get an understanding of that. Yes, some might not believe it, but a lot of people don't believe in their soul origins and their soul connections. This is kind of like going to college too, meaning to connect to lower dimensional beings and not lose your mind. It's a level of college, spiritual college, that is necessary for you to go to the higher realms, to take a bigger role in the universe. And yes, it's hard. Yes, you get made fun of by other spiritual people. Oh, you're dark, we're light, yada yada yada. But realize you're taking a step into the unknown, meaning you're testing yourself to the extreme. Now, we don't obviously, those that really get hit by their guides in a negative way. Let's put it that way. And yes, negative guides can also take you into a lesson quicker than you would have had before. A negative one can come in and just really put you in a situation that really sucks. Like poverty, but also you have many lessons connected to it where you grow even faster than you ever have before. And eventually that negative guy will be released once you learn the lessons that you need to. So it all has different roots and connections. Poverty is another way of soul expansion. Soul, as you know, many are in living that currently. Yes, because it grows the soul faster. Some might have difficulties believing that because you're not always seeing it, but the soul survival skills are, because you get pressured into figuring out ways of surviving, and you actually open up new talents within yourself. Obviously, during a time of struggle, you're not fully seeing it, but also as your endurance, it makes you stronger. You might not fully see the strength of it. Surviving it shows strength, and then it also makes you more complicated, meaning you can handle more things at once. So yes, as a guide, it's not easy. As a positive guide, it's not easy. Some positive guides become so difficult to speak with, you can't get any. Many are not really ready for a spiritual awakening. Many of you are actually Atlantean beings, and yes, angel beings. We'll just, obviously, we're not going to name them all here, but you've always been connected to spirit world. So throughout your incarnations, Canadian spirit world's been just like drinking water. It's like putting on your clothes. It's normal. And so you have these tests where you're aware, well, eventually you become aware that you have a guy that's messing with you. Most of society is not going to see that. They call it normal. Now they learn slower. And even the tests are sometimes slower also. Like your economy, we're going to use that for example because that's a method of manipulation on your planet. It is like false free will, basically. There is free will within the confines of a false free will, as many of you know. If it's so much free will, why can't I do whatever I want? Because basically, it's a free will within a control system, within a control system, within a control system. Now you can free yourself of that once you understand how it operates. Many are here meant to, but not everybody's meant to do so. Money abundance, but what we are recommending is spiritual abundance. And many are obviously not going to be too happy with that, but spiritual abundance is where your abilities crank up at the highest, where you connect to greys and alien beings without a difficulty. In various beings, even seeing the higher dimensions, which you are capable of doing so. Not always meant to, but some of you are. It's basically you're taking the third dimensional sunglasses off and seeing the real world. This is going to be your real world. Right now, this is just the seeding of it. As you see in other channels, this is all the even popular, yes, of your YouTube channels, your spiritual channels. Many are, yes, connect to spirituality, but they're not really ready to live within it. They're not ready to acknowledge it fully. So they have the assistance from someone else. There's nothing wrong with that. So basically the gears of opening up to your guides, to your universe, and multiverses, and even creativity is another way of connecting to your guides also. Whatever creativity, what music, that is another way. You don't always have to say, hey guys, how you doing? What'd you have for lunch today? You don't always have to do that. Through your own creativity, they work through it. You're using your energies and theirs to invent, to speak to your society. It doesn't have to be $1 million project or anything like that. If you reach one person, that's all that matters, or 2 people, 3 people, it doesn't really matter. If you get a laugh at it, that's what matters. Yes, your society is programmed you to think success is financial, but you're going to find out spiritual success is more enduring because you know more of yourself. You're not being pulled into a hell, you're pulling into a more positive environment. Many of you are experiencing hell because you know there's higher dimensional meaning here. There is peace, and you see it, you feel it, and it's hell knowing that it even exists. So, many of those in your third dimension are going to find, they're already in kind of a low vibration, and that has to do with lower consciousness of the mentality here, of basically not willing to change. Yes, change maybe financially or technology-wise, but spiritually, that's not going to happen. But as many of you get more ingrained into who you are, where the spirituality will come through. So many of you are basically getting yourself prepared to help others. If it's for financial success or just spiritual success, either way, it all kind of interconnects. The financial success is there to get you to certain people at a certain time for a certain reason. Some people don't always have a financial success, but they always do find the right people to connect with and assist. You don't need 30 or 40 people, maybe 1 or 2 people a week or 1 person a month. There's nothing wrong with that. You're attuned to that one person, to that energy, to remove any entities that is necessary, whatever it might be. Even you can even receive a guidance to remove a negative guide if it is allowed to. Negative guides they speed things up. Now, do you like that speed? That's a different story. Most don't. But that's why they're there. To speed up your spiritual ascension. When you're ready, a negative guide will come through. Yes, the positive guides, or however you want to word it, are usually, they're assisting, but they kind of let you run the show. Of course, many don't feel like they're running the show, feel like they're being controlled. But that's another way of growing the soul, which is really not easy, but many of you are finding a way of removing that. So, yes, these are the hard times. This Earth's been through a hard time. The war we don't want to call it a war, but the spiritual war is now going to start to become known. As many of you become more aware of your spiritual growth, you will be known by your fellow peers eventually. Now, they agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. It is a war when you think about it. It's not necessarily intended to be called that, but technically it is. And many of you are basically building your foundation that you know who you are and nobody can take that away from you. And that's powerful. But yes, in the past, yes, many use it for financial gain, and then they get, yes, a negative entity attached to them, and I have a negative guide giving everybody details. Many of you are putting a stop to that. So you might look like, an underdog, a fool, whatever it might be. Your intentions are there to remove the nightmare of this reality. And of course you're going to see as a bad guy by doing so. So when you call it, you have positive intentions and you're seen as the villain, is never easy. But in your heart you're doing the right thing. That's when everything starts to click in to the right place. This is why not many people are really given this position just yet. I mean, some are, obviously. But to be called dark when you're not is very difficult. But persistence is key. So, blessings to all of you and your journeys.